Namaste, welcome to Arthneeti, where we discuss money and money related tools to help you in your everyday investing decisions. I am Dr. Shefalika Gokhale. I hold a PhD in business practices of mutual fund houses. These videos are part of the Investor Awareness Initiative of Samyak FinServe. In today's video, as we wrap up the week, we look at some news that created ripples in the financial world, news that has an impact on our investing decisions. Staying informed about news in India and worldwide is not just about knowledge, it is about seizing opportunities and making informed investing decisions that can shape our financial future. Now, in this Friday's video, I wanted to focus my attention on two important news items which happened this week. The first being the decision of the US government on imposing new tariffs on goods made in China. How these new tariffs would affect Indian companies in those sectors wherein these tariffs were imposed. And the second part, I wanted to focus on a very, very important thing that has happened and all of us should be aware of. uh, India signed a 10-year deal with Iran for the management of Chabahar port. Now, this opens door to India in the Central Asia region. It is in direct competition with the Belt and Road, initiative of the Chinese government. But in today's video, we will focus only on the first part, the new tariffs by the US government and how they are going to affect Indian companies in the sectors where these tariffs are imposed. Over the weekend, I will uh, make another video about Chabahar port and how ports in India are getting silently revolutionized away from the media glare, and why is the government's focus on ports, given that the government is or pushing manufacturing sector in the country. It will be a very, very interesting video. Look out for that video over the weekend. But today, let us focus on the US government tariffs on Chinese goods. On 14th of May, President Biden tweeted that he is imposing a series of tariffs on goods manufactured in China. The list goes 25% on steel and aluminium, 50% on semiconductors, 30% on electric vehicles, and 50% on solar panels. Now, China is often called the factory of the world, but increasing number of people from the industry are favoring India over China if both produce the same material. In a poll conducted by a research firm, one poll in January this year, 61% of their respondents favored India over China. They said doing business in China is way more riskier than India. Now, with these new set of sanctions that US has imposed on China, will this be a golden opportunity for Indian industry? Many in India, including government officials, see it as a positive sign, a opportunity which Indian industry should seize. Let us focus on these sectors one by one. Let us talk about steel first. China is the biggest producer and exporter of steel in the world. India is the second largest producer of steel thanks to its significant reserve of iron ore, which is a main ingredient in steel manufacturing. But when it comes to export, it lags way behind. Even a small country like Vietnam surpasses India when it comes to export of steel. In spite of it lacking the capacity advantage that China has and the resource advantage that India has. Now, this is a point to ponder. One more factor that can pose as a challenge in the steel sector is the fluctuation of coal prices. Now, these prices significantly impact the cost of steel production, as coal is a major source of energy used in steel mills. Infrastructural bottlenecks like inefficient logistics also pose a added cost disadvantage in the steel sector. But value added steel products such as high quality specialty steel produced by steel companies may help them to fetch premium prices in the export market and compete effectively in the export of steel. Domestic consumption of steel is also on the rise thanks to the infrastructural push by the government of India. Now, some of the leading steel companies in India are Tata Steel, one of the largest steel producers in the country, with focus on high quality steel products. JSW Steel, known for its commitment to innovation and sustainable steel making practices. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India, a joint venture between ArcelorMittal and Nippon Steel, which is aiming to lead in the production of high grade flat steel products in India. It is very important to note that investing in the steel sector carries inherent risk. So, conducting a thorough research before investing is always warranted. Let us talk about aluminium. Now, in 2023, Canada, the Gulf countries, India, Russia, Australia were some of the biggest exporters of aluminium. The biggest importers were countries like the USA, South Korea, Germany, Japan, etc. Now, India is a significant player when it comes to production of aluminium. It ranks sixth in the world with a global output of nearly 4 million tons. India exports aluminium, but the focus is on processed form of aluminium products. Raw aluminium ore export figures are relatively low as compared to the final products that are sold. The challenges that the Indian aluminium sector face are import challenges. Now, if I'm saying that we are one of the biggest producers of aluminium, why the need to import aluminium ore? Well, this is mainly due to focus on high value finished aluminium products. So, for those kinds of products, India is dependent on import of aluminium ore. Yeah, the focus of Indian aluminium sector is on exporting processed aluminium products like sheets, plates, etc. These products are used in various sectors like construction, transportation, packaging, and so on. Some of the leading companies in India in the aluminium sector are Hindalco, a very household name known to all. Now, Hindalco is one of the leading aluminium producers in the country and has a diversified portfolio across the aluminium value chain. The second one is Vedanta Aluminium. They are involved right from mining to refining and to manufacturing value added aluminium products. US is a major export destination for these companies. India leverages its cost advantage and increased production capacity to cater to the demands of the US market. So, with these sanctions that are laid on the Chinese aluminium, Indian aluminium sector will see greener days in the future. Next, let us shift our focus to semiconductors. Now, semiconductors are chips which are used in our everyday consumer products like mobile phones, digital cameras, laptops, washing machines, refrigerators, cars. The list is endless. Taiwan is the biggest producer of semiconductor chips in the world, followed by South Korea, China, and the US. The Indian government aims to achieve self sufficiency when it comes to semiconductor production and has launched several schemes to attract investments in the country. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the world's largest uh, chip maker, has signed an agreement with Vedanta to set up a semiconductor fabrication facility in Gujarat. This is a significant development, and this would help India position itself as a major player in the global semiconductor industry. Indian Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, a joint venture between Government of India and private companies, is poised to be a major player in the domestic chip production. The Tata Group's Dholera plant, which it has started in partnership with Taiwan's Power Chip Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, is set to roll out its first semiconductor chip by 2026. So, this is a significant development. This is a partnership between Tata Electronics and PSMC of Taiwan. Besides Tata's, the other big players to look out for in this sector are the HCL Group and CG Power. Prime Minister Modi has laid foundation stones for three semiconductor fabrication facilities, two in Gujarat and one in Assam in March. And his aim is to make India the semiconductor hub to the world. So, even if this industry is nascent right now, it has a very bright future. Now, let us shift our focus to EV, electric vehicles. Now, they have been the talk of the town ever since first Elon Musk said that he would visit India, meet up with the Prime Minister, and heightened the expectations of people all over the country about his decision to set up a manufacturing facility. But later on, he backtracked. He said that he had cancelled his visit and would visit India later this year. But Indian government has set up an ambitious target of achieving 30% electric vehicle penetration in the country by 2030. It is expected that this target would propel growth in the EV industry, creating numerous job and investment opportunities. Some of the leading players in the Indian EV industry right now are Tata Motors, which is the largest player in the electric vehicle market in the country. The company which launched the Nexon EV, which is the best selling electric car in the country. But compare this, Tata Motors sold 69,000 units, which were up 59% from the previous year in 2023. Now compare this with BYD of China. It sold 30 lakhs 24,000 units in the previous year. So the comparison itself tells us that the EV industry, though growing at a fast pace, is still nascent in India. The other significant player is Maruti Suzuki. It is entering the EV market with its aggressively priced Wagon R electric car. Hero Electric and Bajaj Auto are also two prominent players in the EV sector. Now, EV sector in India has its great strengths. India is a large and growing market with significant demand for alternative energy transportation. It has a huge government support with schemes like PLI and Make in India. Skilled workforce is known to be an advantage in our country. The focus is now on innovation, not just contract manufacturing. Cost advantage is also a significant factor which makes India a welcome destination for companies all over the world to set up their manufacturing facilities here. But besides these strengths, there are certain challenges which the EV sector in India might face. Infrastructural bottlenecks like the power grid infrastructure needs improvement to support the widespread EV adoption and manufacturing. Raw material dependence, in the sense EVs need uh, batteries with materials like lithium. Now, India is heavily dependent on import of such batteries. China is a dominant player, but with 100% tariffs, the low cost Chinese cars, the BYD as well as the latest Xiaomi car, which was launched, will face stiff competition in the foreign countries. With the government's outlook for penetration of electric vehicles in India, as well as these new tariffs on China, open door to EV players not only in India but across the world to come and set up facilities in the country. Again, this is an area which holds bright future for investors. Lastly, let us look at solar panels where the US government has imposed a tariff of 50%. Now, India is both manufacturer as well as exporter of solar panels. In recent years, India has become a major player in the global solar panel industry. India has a strong manufacturing capacity exceeding 68 gigawatts as of March 2024. The export of solar panels from India has seen significant growth, with exports exceeding nearly $1 billion dollars in the 22-23 fiscal year. There are several factors that have contributed to this growth, which include government support initiatives and the potential of strong profit margins in exports in markets like the US, particularly after the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act restricted imports from China. Now, in addition to this, 50% tariffs that have been imposed on Chinese solar panels is a welcome sign for industries in the solar panel sector in India. Let us look at some of the major players in the solar manufacturing space in India. Adani Green is a leading manufacturer of solar panels in the country. Renew Power, primarily known for renewable energy projects. Renew Power also has a significant presence in the manufacturing part of the solar panel industry. Wari Engineers, a manufacturer of solar modules and EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction contractor for solar power plants. Again, a known major player. Last but not the least, Jackson Group, a diversified group with a presence in the solar panel manufacturing and renewable energy solutions sector. So these are some of the industries, companies to look out for in this space. Now, US has emerged as a major export destination for these Indian companies. Firstly, because of high demands for solar panels in the US, potential for higher profit margins compared to other markets, and as I told you, the UFLPA, the uh, 1 minute, the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which imposes restrictions on Chinese exports, in addition to the 50% tariffs which are imposed by the US government. All these factors create such a concoction which has a potential of giving better returns to companies in this sector. The names of the companies in the various sectors that I mentioned in my video are purely from educational point of view. They are in no way investment recommendations. These companies are slated to gain after the US government decision of imposing sanctions on Chinese made goods. Now, many from the industry across the world have started favoring India over China, the primary reason being reduction of their over dependence on one country to meet their production needs. Secondly, they want to reduce the risk of supply chain bottlenecks which they faced with China. So, all these along with the strengths that India has, like government support with schemes like PLI and Make in India, the skilled workforce available in our country, cost advantage that India has over other countries in Asia, uh, the large and growing market which India itself is, all these add up to India becoming a major manufacturing hub to the world and replacing China, not in the near future, but definitely in some point of time in the future, as the factory to the world. Correct. So, with these sanctions, these are the industries and the companies to look out for. Before taking any investing decision, it is very necessary that you do your own research, be comfortable with the decision that you are taking about investing your hard earned money, and then invest. My videos are for educational purposes only. I hope I have added value to your investing journey with this very informative video. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share my video to reach maximum number of people. See you in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.